everyone. I'd like to welcome you to Life Beyond the Clouds, and I want to thank Stacey from the bottom of my heart from being here. She lost her beautiful son that you can see right there, Braddox, and I want you to be able to tell your beautiful story of love and hope and the connection and the signs that he gave you, Stacey, that if it not been for that, right, you would say, I don't know what. And he's just guiding every second and every minute of your life. And I want you to tell your beautiful story because where you are and what you've done for other people. And actually, what's amazing about your story is when other people were so sad for you, right, and crying with your knowing and your love and the messages, it's almost as if you were kind of giving them hope, right? You were kind of comforting them at the same time. But this journey for you is so big and you're just beginning it and just starting it. But how he helped you to move and all the things that he helped you to do, the whispering in your ear and the knowings, that you always stayed with the knowings. And I think it's so beautiful that when other people doubted decisions that you were making in the beginning, because they love you, because your friends love you and they value you, but how you just knew that this was the right thing and it brought you to where you are and that it has changed your life. And to this moment, you still know that this is where you're supposed to be. But how it took so many people and so much love also to help you get through this with the friends that have. And I know they love and adore you so much. So I really want you to tell your story and I want you to introduce your beautiful son. And I want you to talk about the messages. I think it's so important for people to understand how they're always communicating with us and how you absolutely know now, these are messages. Not everybody is here. Not everyone understands, and that's okay, right? They're not going to, but this is about love and hope for me. It's always bigger than me. It's not about me. This is about helping people to find peace and to be able to move on and know that they're alive. Everybody wants to know that there's something more. So this is what this is about for me. And I really want to give you a chance to tell your story because your energy is so beautiful and you're such an amazing woman. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Renee. And I when you asked me to do this, I jumped at the chance because really what you brought to me and on my journey, really, you started my journey. I mean, my journey began obviously when we lost
Mhm.
Braddox, and it was so shocking and so tragic. But I just I was in this horrible dark place, and I just couldn't pull myself out. I couldn't figure out what to do. Braddox was so big, and he was such
Wow.
a light and such a big part. It left this huge hole. And so I just didn't know what to do. And I really was lost, and I really was questioning my faith. And I couldn't understand why these things were happening to us because, we have a good family, we have a ton of
Yes.
love.
Oh,
And
yes.
it was so unbelievable that this was happening to us. And the thing that you said to me when we had our visit, and it really changed and shaped my journey for me, was this is what he wants for you, both God and Braddock's. Like, this is what they want for you. And in that moment, I realized it was okay for me to take care of myself, to focus on myself, to get myself okay, because Braddock's wanted that for me. And I knew that because he was so authentic. He was so genuine. He wasn't perfect, but he was so authentic and genuine in his giving and his spirit and his nature that I knew that message. And the second you started telling me the messages from him, I knew right away because they were so specific and so real to him. And knowing that heaven, what you said, as it was on heaven, it is on earth, and
Mhm.
that heaven was right here. I it literally in that instant, I mean, it lifted, and I feel him with me, and I believe. I opened up my heart to him, and he comes to me all the time, and he touches my life in ways and guides me. And you open that door for me. You open the door for me to believe and to have that hope. And that it literally it saved my life. I mean, literally, it gave me it turned me into a different person. And I'm so grateful. I can never say thank you enough
You
for the
don't.
gift, because you gave me, the gift of being open to the messages. And that's really what you do, is connect people with that energy, because they're still here. They're very
Yeah.
much still here.
And this is Stacey, what I say to people, and I know I've had some people make comments, or for me, it's always been about my faith, right? It's always been about using God and Jesus to guide. And whether you believe or not, I don't judge anyone on their spiritual journey. I always just say, and God doesn't judge us either. We're so hard on ourselves, we judge ourselves. it's just about loving us and saying, God gives us these glimpses into heaven. He shows me the heaven that he wants me to see, to pass it on to people, to say, hey, I'm right here. There is more. And this is what it's about. And it's about opening up everybody else to this. So you don't have to always depend on people like me, right? We're all connected to the divine. For me, it's about saying, I'm going to tell you these things right now so you understand, right? When people walk in and I don't know you or who you are, and I can tell you certain details. And the reason that I give them is so you leave and say, oh my gosh, there is more. And when you start understanding there's more, that door just floods open and it stays open for you. It never closes again because they want to reach out to you. So they'll come to me to open your heart and your mind, right? I've always had visions of this, that this is what I was supposed to do. And now what you're doing is you're helping other people with this. You've opened your heart up to other people. You have so much love to give, Stacey, and his energy. I remember the first time when you came to me, I said to you, I feel like I'm bouncing off the walls with him. I feel like my energy was just like, I was trying to contain it. It was so big. He was so excited and he wanted to come through exactly. And you said that's how he was in life, right? And he was just such a big energy, and he still is. He's one that is so excited, and he's just an amazing person. They still live. I never say someone died. I always, oh, I cringe with that. I always just say they went home, they went to heaven. We're all spiritual energy. So the more that we understand this and start to feel their energy, because you feel it, it's him coming to you all the time. He's never going to leave you. He's just one of those. He's always going to come up, throw his arms behind your neck. Like I always, when I see his energy, he's coming up behind you, and he's such a prankster, like the type that would want to jump out of a closet and scare your daughter, right? That would just
Oh
want to
yeah.
do. This is what he does. It's like he wants to jump out, and he just is always bigger than life. But this is just who he is, and we have these soul plans. And I'm honest, I don't have the answers for everything, right? When people say, "Why would we pick this? Why would we?" We have a soul plan. We know what we're going to experience. Yes, there's things that are unforeseen, right? That there are accidents and things that aren't supposed to happen, but we have a soul plan. This is like a role we play when we come here. We all have to agree to our part, right? And we all want to help the other soul grow. It's all about all of us learning from it and helping others. And you're getting so much energy and love from heaven, and you're feeling it all the time. And now you're starting to reach out and wanting to help other people with this, which is so unbelievably amazing and incredible. And I still see you on a format where you're going to be lecturing or doing a podcast yourself to understand about helping people to move forward on this. People have to stop being afraid. We're so afraid of what we don't know. And I always just say, heaven loves us. There's nothing to be afraid of heaven. It's never going to hurt us. I don't receive bad or negative messages. That's just not the way my gift works. It's about opening us up and guiding us and showing you that there's more. So I just can't thank you enough for coming on and wanting to be able to share your story with people, Stacey. It's such an important one. And I had another guest on earlier, and it's the same thing. It's so much bigger than what people understand. We think that we're the only one, right? When we go through something. And even with me with the gift, it took me a long time to want to do this because you don't want to be judged in something. You don't want people to look at you. Even as a child, I never told people. I've had friends say, why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted to be a 13-year-old kid, right? I didn't want people, I wanted friends. I didn't want people to think there was something, even though I knew it was beautiful. And I wanted to say, hey, it's going to be okay. Your grandmother's here. Your dad just came in, but you just still just want to be a kid. And even with this journey on this, you want people to understand, right? And now you want to share your experience with people and just say, this is where I am. And this is what he's showing me. You're able to tell people too about your messages, right? You're passing this on. Do you understand? It doesn't stop with me. This
Right.
opens you up, and you're able to say to people, no, do you understand? Look for this message. That's a sign. And you're understanding the signs. Now it's just like this ripple effect when you throw the rock into the water, how the ripples keep going. Well, that's what your energy is doing too. Because of this, now you're able to help other people. It doesn't just stop with you. Like this was being done to you because you did something wrong. I never want somebody to think that because we're so loved. And now you're helping other people on this journey. And I think it's so beautiful with you that you've become so open to this and that you are helping other people.
And you think that you're being punished, and that's where you
Yes.
question your faith, because it's so awful and it's so fast and it's so quick.
Oh,
It's like when when it happened, when we lost Braddox, it was so tragic. It was a tragic accident that he was ripped. I mean, it
yes.
rips, and it's a physical pain. Like you feel this open gaping wound because they're ripped from you, and like,
Oh,
just like something being ripped or torn on your
yes.
body,
Yes.
you're ripped, you're hurt, and it's so fast, and you aren't given any warning or notice. It's like you said, that gut punch, right? You just all it hits you out of like nowhere. And so to have someone come in and say, this is what he would want for you, your son. This is what God would want for you. This is what you can do. And to get that gift, it feels almost selfish to not, for me, to not put it back out. When Braddock sends me a sign, it's almost always like, Mom, you got to do this. You got
Yes.
to go do this. This is what you got to do. And it's like always something where I was like, it's probably stuff like half the time I wouldn't even think about doing. Like, we're going to row in this a dragon boat race. And I would have never in a million years that would have
Oh,
been
do you want
something
to
that
know
I was
what's,
going to
you know
do.
what's, you know what's amazing? Actually, on my notes, this is so funny. I have to look back because I started writing down some notes for you. And he actually showed me like a boat and a kayak, and like you're doing something. Do you understand? Like you're doing something with a boat and a kayak right here. You're doing some sort of a race. He had me write this. it's it's so amazing, and I wanted to get to that because I sit here for a few minutes before, because I can receive messages. I can be cleaning the house now, and I'll get them for anyone, and you know that I'll just message people and say, because if I get a message, I don't hold on to it. It's not mine. It doesn't belong to me, right? I'll just say this is what happened, but he's talking about this race as if this is a big deal, right? That's why I do a question mark. When I put a question mark under something, it means that it's bigger. There's more to the story. It's not just that's all there is. Like, this is your message. This means it's something bigger, right? So this is just what he's showing. And I even love when people like with you, I mean, when you share like the certain knowings, when you go back, how it's just incredible for you. And it's amazing when you just say, oh my gosh, like no one knew this, right? This is what we're planning, and this is what we're doing. And he keeps talking about wearing a helmet. I don't know what he means, if somebody's wearing some sort of a hat, or if there's something with a helmet. He showed me, I was writing down something with a helmet. I don't know if this pertains to something else.
It could be. I mean, it could be a lot of things. Between sports, it could be.
Is there something with you having his helmet or moving his helmet or doing something with a helmet of his? I either put it somewhere, I moved it, I touched it, but I feel like I physically had it, moved it, or touched it.
Yeah, I have it. So I have his helmet in a box, and I go in and I just the other day, yesterday, I was really in my feelings, and I was in his box, and I was going through the things. He has a treasure chest that he
Okay.
found on the side of the road, and that's where kept I kept that, and that's where I have like all the mementos and everything. But yesterday it was weird because the day before it was my birthday, but yesterday I was actually really, really in my feelings. Sometimes you see like something
Yes.
pops up, and
Yes.
I went in and I like to go and look at his things, and I have the bag of hair. I know you talked about his
Yes.
hair.
Yes.
I
He
still
loves
have the bag of his hair.
beautiful hair. He was all, and he kept showing me like a mullet. Like either he wanted to be, I can't remember that country singer's name, but the one that wore the
Oh,
mullet back in the day. But he's
Lake Shelton, yeah.
like having a mullet, right? He
The
keeps saying
mullet,
like
yeah.
either they teased him and he talks about even shaving people's hair, or shaving his hair for a cause, or shaving his head at school, or I shaved his head for a cause.
Well, he shaved his head literally right before he passed. Actually, his sister shaved it for $300.
Oh my God, because he's talking about the shaving of the hair. Do you understand? These are the things that you couldn't possibly know unless they weren't coming in and just wanting to share, right? Wanting to I don't, and it's also funny, like even when I talk to you, right, he's shows me something either with, I don't know if there was something with eating candy or leaving something by his nightstand, or do you know what I mean? There was some sort of a tug and a pull with you. It's about this. It's kind of funny. Either something about his eating or leaving something by his nightstand or,
Well, when we were on vacation, there was candy in the room. He
okay.
was in the when we were with our friends, and he was eating it, but he was licking them, and he was sticking them in the hair
Yeah.
of and he so he had it in there, and I
All
was
right.
yelling at them. I was like, don't, he's not supposed to have candy in there. And the girl came out, my girlfriend's daughter, and she said Braddox was licking gummy bears and sticking them all in
So
the
this is where when we talk about the hair, then he's jumping into the candy. So that's how for me, right? They'll piggyback. They'll say one
connects.
thing and they'll want to connect. They'll want to go to one and to the next, because they'll want you to just say it's like these memories, like this is just still who he is, right? He's this ball of energy. It's just like if you were to look at the galaxy, right? He's just everywhere and part of this. He's part of everything, right? He's there for everything, but he's also part of everything. So this is just why he'll want to connect and he'll want to show. Is there anything with your daughter with a new car?
So she has my car
Okay.
that and she's been asking for a car, but she drives my car, And she recently, I mean, she's hasn't been driving that long, but she's been driving my car. But she thinks she's getting a new car, but she probably should get her job first.
Okay, because he's talking about her wanting a new car. Like she's, you know how you'll tell your friends, I'm getting a new car. Like my mother's getting me a car. Because he's talking about like he knows this conversation isn't going to stop. Like it's just eventually, it's just she's going to want to go out more, but she's going to get more comfortable with driving. I still feel as if she's not, she's still learning and not that comfortable with driving
Right.
or going far. That for her, she's still trying to find, you know, what I mean, her bearings with this. Like she's not very comfortable. Like a little bit of anxiety almost with this. That
She does, and she's like super like safety safe. Like she
okay.
won't go over the speed. Like she's very, um, she does go out and drive, but she doesn't go very far. She
Okay, because he's referencing that right now she's good, like she wants to drive but doesn't want to go. That it'll take her a little bit of time, but that she's good, but that this will happen. I feel, you know, what I mean, eventually, but that she is. It's almost like she looks at cars. Like if I could get a car, it's like she knows what she wants. It's like,
oh,
mom,
she knows what she
I would
wants,
like
and
to have this, and I keep seeing a Jeep around her. I don't know if there's anything with a Jeep.
that's what she wants.
Okay.
She's like begging for a Jeep.
Okay, because he keeps showing me this Jeep. Like she wants this. It almost looks like it's white. I don't know what color it is, but I
She
keep
wants a
saying,
white Jeep, and she
okay,
keeps. That's hilarious. That's amazing because literally she's only told us, and
okay.
she's already collecting the little ducks because she's so sure that she's gonna get a Jeep.
Do you
But
see? That's what I'm saying. He's already telling everyone, and she's saying, like, I'm
oh
getting
yeah,
this. Like, she's saying to people, like, she's already, but see, she's manifesting, so it'll happen. She's already in her mind, and this is what we're supposed to do. We start to manifest, right? But you know that we think about someone we haven't talked to in forever, then they call us. Well, this is even with the energy to heaven, getting back to this, when they feel us, and I always feel that it's mostly them coming to us. We think we thought of them, and all of a sudden they appeared. It's really them standing behind you saying, Mom, I'm right here, and that they show you something, you turn around and out of nowhere you pull open your drawer, right? And maybe there was a pack of gummy bears, or there was, do you understand, something that they loved? And it was them saying, Mom, look, I'm right here. It's really them coming to us because their energy is so big. They're all knowing and all seeing, right? We still are on the physical earth, but it's opening people up. And the more you open this up, and the more it expands your awareness and your consciousness. And this is what I want. We live in, I always say I live in two places. I live there and I live here at the same time, but I want everyone to feel this too. It's about saying heaven is for real and knowing there is life beyond the clouds. And yes, when we say on earth as it is in heaven, we say the words a million times and we don't pay attention because we just say things so repetitively. It's about slowing the energy down. They're a higher vibration than us. So it's about you know what I mean, raising ours a little bit, and then we connect. And when you know you're laying in bed at night, right? And you know that you're feeling him and you just know he's standing beside you. It doesn't always have to be you find something of theirs. It's just you just say, I absolutely know. I feel you right now. I know you're here.
and this is so crazy that you're saying that because I was just telling Jump my husband about this, and I sometimes like you feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, people think I'm like an actual lunatic. But
Mm-mm.
if once I shared this with people this way, so many people went. So I was listening to the radio the other day, and this guy was talking about if you have you ever had your phone on vibrate and it wasn't with you, but you thought you felt it vibrate. It's called, and the 9 out of 10 people experience that sensation. It's like a phantom vibration.
Yes.
I said that is the same thing. Like I physically feel Braddox. There are times where I will feel him. And I know it's him. I will
Mhm.
feel him, like you said. I will, and I physically feel it. My arm hairs are standing up right now because it is so real. It is a real physical sensation. Or like you said, I'll be laying in bed, and one day, literally, he punched me in the arm. Not hard, but like how he joked
Yes.
around. But
Yes.
I felt him punch me in the arm, and I literally felt it, and enough that it made me move. And so when I was explaining this originally, when I would tell people that, people were kind of like, because not everybody. But when I explained the phone thing, right, it's the same thing. That it's not. It's you can feel it. It's a real physical sensation if you're open to it. And most people think that when they feel that phantom vibration, they think their phone's in their pocket, and then they look and their phone's maybe like on, and they're like, but they still know, they know what they felt. I know it. I know what I felt. It's real because you're open to it, and that is what. And everybody who sees me, they're like, you look different, you look
Mhm.
better. And it's like, I'm not better, right? Like I'm never gonna be
Whole.
good, and okay with losing, but I know that I'm with him and that he's with me, and that gives me a peace that makes things different. Like I can smile, I can laugh, I can be again, I can live, and it's okay to live. And that's the hardest part of grief, to get to that place, to get to the place where you are okay with, like, I'm okay. It's okay for
Yes.
me to live. In fact, that's what I keep getting back to, is what you said, is this is what he wants for you. Because for me as a mother, that's what I want, is what he would want for me. That's the best gift you can possibly give a grieving mother, is to know what their child, that they're okay, that they're safe, and what they want for you. And so I'm going to do my best to put that back out into the world, what he would want for me. And I don't go around like, Braddox was not perfect. He was a wild, crazy teenage, but he was real. He was authentic. He was loving and giving. And so those are the pieces I'm going to share with the world, right? I'm not going to put out the, let me tell you about the time this kid, plucked my ever living nerves, right? I'm going to put back the joy and the love that he radiated. That's what you're going to put back out there. So it's not misrepresentation, right, of people. And that's the piece that bothers me sometimes, is people are like, no one misses trying to misrepresent their loved ones, right? The gift that you gave me was what showing me what he wants for me, so I can choose what I put back and choose what I share of him. And that's my gift. And that's our right, as people to,
Oh,
and that makes, if I want to use that platform to, it makes me feel good and better to put back that love. That's a great thing. People should recognize that, right? It's so beautiful. Like,
Stacey, it is.
embrace that. Like, the same thing you feel, like, don't let someone judge you or say, oh, well, she's doing this or she's doing that. If it's real and authentic, and that's why I think people resonate to you and to me and to what we're doing, is because it's real, it's authentic, it's intentional, it's we mean to do that.
Yes.
So everyone else who doesn't, I just choose to, they can believe or think whatever they want. I'm not going to change their mind. But for anybody that says, you made something better for me, you made my life a little bit better, or your son did something for me or my child somewhere
Yeah.
along the way that made life a little bit better, of course that's what I'm going to grab onto. And of course I hope that's what people get from you. And anybody else who has those negative things to say, or you don't believe in God, or you can't be spiritual, you can't love Jesus, well, they don't know our journey.
No.
They can't tell me, you can't tell me what I know or what I
No.
don't know.
No.
And everything that I'm doing is coming from a place of just because I love my child,
Oh,
because
Stacey,
I love him so much that I
I know.
want to give back something to
I
put
know.
to make this world a little bit of a better place. So I don't see how anyone could find fault with those things. And you gave me that gift. So, and it came from your relationship with God. So to me, that journey in and of itself, to get from that relationship to get to someone, to touch them in their heart where they can go on and do something, is probably the most amazing gift you can give another human being.
And I'm going to show you quickly. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this picture of me? Can you see this?
I do. I
Okay.
do. I can see
So,
it.
so this is energy. So this was a couple years ago. I was upstairs and my daughter-in-law just randomly took a picture of me, right? And she yelled and she said, "Oh my God." And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "You have all these bubbles around you." And I said, "Bubbles?" And I went over and I looked and I smiled and I just said, "Those are angels. Those are orbs, right? That's energy." So when you look at that and you just say, "This is what's around everyone all the time," we go back to this energy, right? And if this is around me, it's around everyone. So when you see, I mean, there's probably 100 of them there. And when you see what's around you, and that's why you feel their energy. And for me, even though I want to help people with this, they need to hear the messages first, right? I could talk about this all day and God and my faith and my love of heaven and what I've seen of heaven since I was a little girl and my spiritual journeys that I get on a daily basis. But people have to have the absolute message so it opens them up. And that's why I like to say, your daughter with the Jeep, or things that you're doing, or the Braddox dance, or his hair, or the candy, because you just say, there's no way you would know that. And when I knew you were going to move, right, I kept seeing this house with these stairs and this blue house. And when you get these absolute messages, that's when people say, wait a second, there is something to this. How would she know this? And for me, it's only about love. It's not about looking at me any differently. It's about saying, this is about you, and how much God loves us, that he would allow me to pass this message on, to heal your heart, to heal your broken heart, just to start to heal it, even if it's a little piece at a time, right? If it's a piece at a time, a moment by moment, but for you to hold on to that message and say, if it happened once, look at our whole life. It's based on signs. We have street signs and we have stoplights, right? Heaven is always giving us signs. We're always seeing angel numbers. For me, it's angel numbers. My dad, it's always 210. After he went to heaven, about 6 weeks, I would say to him, Dad, let me see 210, right? And one night, same with you, I felt like I was gently nudged, and I sit up and I look at the clock and it was 2:10 a.m. And I just said, Dad, thank you. I love you, right? And now I'll just randomly see it. We're always getting signs, and we can ask for them too. People think we can't ask. If you call someone, they answer the phone because you're calling them. You're sending your energy to them. It's the same thing in heaven. If you want something from them, ask them for what you need. They hear you. They will answer you. I always say give them time. It's not like us, you know what I mean? They are energy, and we have to want to. We can't test them. I always say don't come to me and test them. Don't test the souls in heaven. They love us. They're going to help you. And to see where you are now and now helping other people, and I know you even have someone now that's with you that you have, your house, and to see you opening up and to see your daughter and to see your husband and where you're at and where you've come. Only the divine could have done this for you. Only the divine.
For sure. There's no other explanation, and
No.
there's no other, like, went to therapy and did a lot of different, the same thing with my daughter, and the only thing that helped us to be able to breathe, to be able to accept what has happened to us, was to know, to have that peace. And you met with my daughter too, and she still talks about, and you send me these messages, and every now and then you'll just something random, and it's so crazy. And the one, like, we think about all the time, it was last year around this time on my daughter's birthday, right before my daughter's birthday, my hair appointment got canceled, and you could have not known this at all, and you sent me a message, like the next day. It said, "Hey Stacey, I see something, and it's with hair, and this is going to sound totally crazy, but kidney stones." And we were all like, because my hair girl had kidney stones, and like no one knew that. Just me and my daughter were having a conversation about it, and just those things, and how specific. And it's just those little minute by minute moments in real life. And that's what I was trying to explain to everybody whenever I tell anyone, and I always meet people who are on a grief journey, and it's like big grief journeys, and I
Yes.
say, God puts people in your path for a reason, right? God and Braddox bring me to people and
Braddox.
connect me in the craziest ways to people. Like, one of our neighbors, actually, her cousin's son passed away. He went to the same high school, and she lives in my community here in Myrtle Beach. We never knew each other. And my son won the award for her cousin's son for lacrosse. And
Unbelievable.
like, God connects you, and my son connects me with people, and it touches my heart, and it gives me little messages from Braddox so that I know he's with me. And I always tell people when I meet them in the grief journey, I'm like, I'll tell them about you, and I'll tell them about the things that you shared with me and the things that you say to me. And they're just little nuggets, and they're little nuggets of connectedness.
Hmm.
And it's energy. And the things you told me and knew about, and my girlfriend will tell you about this, about, physics, humans, right? Energy can't be created or destroyed. So there's a divine piece, but there's also a piece of, for people who are like, okay, well, how do you explain it then? How do you explain, where does the energy go if you're, it can't be created or destroyed? Where does it go? And one of the things you shared, and no one knew except me and my one girlfriend, that there's enough energy in a human to power a light. And you told me he communicates through lights. And I
Yes.
shared with you the experience I had where my porch light, and it
Yes.
was so specific, and you knew that, but it was so real. I mean, it was a physical thing happening. It wasn't just like, I felt a breeze, or it was like, we witnessed something happening, and it's being open to that. It's witnessing, because to me, those are the miracles, right?
They
Miracles don't have to be big, they don't have to be these big things. They're those moments that something happens to you that changes how you see life, and it gives you the ability. For me, a miracle is every moment that I get from my son that gives me the ability to get up the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, because losing him, you didn't think you were going to make it, right? And everybody always says to me, I don't know how you survived. And I was like, well, survival wasn't the option, because
are.
I did survive. The option, the choice is, how do I move forward? How do I move on? How do I
Yes.
how do I create this journey and keep my son in my world. And then what you gave me was, you don't have to keep him. He's already there. Just open up. Just open up and watch for, and he'll tell you. And literally, it's like, it's like, you don't have to think so hard. I don't have to think that hard. I don't have to, because he'll show me. He'll be like, Mom, you got to do this.
You just know
And
now, Stacey.
and
You
he,
just
yeah,
know,
and
and you
he
just
puts
know.
people in my path.
Yes.
And it's like, I cry sometimes when I meet people and we have these conversations, and they cry too. And it's like a gift we give each other, because you know it. You know what I mean? You know it. You feel it. You just feel, and it's the energy. It's so weird.
No,
Until you, I couldn't explain it. It's so crazy though, because it literally is like the energy, someone's energy pulls you to them.
it's always bigger than us, Stacey, and this is what I want everybody to understand. I'm just, I always just say I'm a messenger. I mean, this is. I know where it comes from, but I've also agreed to sign up for this before I came. I agreed before I came here to say this is what I want to do with this. I want to open people up to where we came from. It's a very heavy place here right now. And when even with me, when I just know the little signs I'll get, even for myself, right? If from my father or from my angels, things I'm supposed to do, oh my gosh, with inside me, it's not like I can reach out and I call a lot of people, right? But I just know internally, I just say thank you, because I know I was meant to have this happen, or you just know things are going to happen. I'll know someone's going to call. I just know things. So I've stayed open to this because I want to help people with this. It's so much bigger, and it's just so much about love and light. And Stacey, I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing this today and telling your story. And I would love to have you back again, because this is so big. And what you're doing now is you're becoming a light worker. You always were, but now what you're doing is you're sharing this. And you're actually, that's what's so amazing, is you're helping other people, right? With all of this, you're talking about your beautiful son, and you're sharing and you're helping other people on this grief journey, and you're opening them up too to understand the messages and just try this. What do you have to lose, right? You've got everything to gain to find that connection, right? When you're divinely receiving a message, how on the hardest day in your life, when you receive that, how it's going to help you. So you're actually taking this and you're helping other people too, right? We all have this within us. And now Braddox is helping you on this journey, and you're spreading his love and his light, and you're guiding other people on this journey in that place that you were, right? Not that long ago, even though you're going to always, it never ends. You never stop missing someone. That's what I say to people. Even with what I do, it doesn't change what was. I can't, I wish there was, I always say, I wish there was more that I could do, but oh my gosh, I want to help everyone to open up, and people know, right, that I want to connect them with this, and I want their heart to heal, and I want them to know that there's more, that when you look at them, that they're everywhere. Stop. People always look up at the sky. I always go, what are you looking at? I'm like, they're right here. They're right in front of you. They're with you right now. Their energy, do you understand, is everywhere. And now you're on this journey and you're helping other people. And Stacey, I cannot thank you enough for doing this and coming on today, and just opening people up to your story, and how, and helping them on their journey, about that there's so much more than this.
There really is. And I can't thank you enough. I really can't. And I know you always say, but that's what I think connected and resonated so well, is you're so genuine. You're so thoughtful. You're so real in what you do. And it resonated. So, I mean, it touched my heart so deeply. And I share it. And you send me a message. You're like, oh gosh, I was so surprised that, like, that they, but when you're real and you put yourself and you're so authentic, it's so easy for someone to give that back to you. And that's probably the biggest gift that we got when we lost Braddox, was
Mhm.
everything that we'd ever put out, my husband, my family, everything that we ever did for anyone. They came back and just gave us that love a million times
Yes.
over, because when you need it, your people, they show up big. And so if you can touch one person, or my story touches one person who says, I just I didn't have hope, or I was in despair, or I just really felt like I just wasn't able to get by or make it. And people say that to me all the time. They're like, I don't know how
Yeah,
you can. You really can. You really can make it. You really can get through it. And I'm a proof of it. And
you are.
God surrounded me with other people like that too. People
Oh,
who have
you're
lost their
so loved.
children, who came to me and said, look at me, I'm still here. You will be too. You have to open. And grief And that's, I think, another piece of what's so beautiful. Grief shuts people down. I literally shut down. I mean, everything. My body shut down. My mind shut down. You said, if you want to survive this, if you want to get through this, it's not about shutting down. It's about opening up. And the second you open up, where you're afraid because you think it's going to hurt and be
Yes.
painful, it's actually not. And I didn't even cry when we met, which was so
Yeah.
crazy because I cry over everything. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I didn't cry because I was so, the energy in the room when we were together that day, I was so open to it. It was like, it was warm. I physically felt warm. Is that, and
Yeah.
I know you knew,
That's
and I
our
told you
energy.
that. I'm like, I'm warm. Like I feel this warmth. And I knew, I just knew. I walked away and I was like, I know, I believe. I can't explain it. I can't explain it to anyone else. It's just something you have to open up to. And when you do and you feel it, you just know. And so many people have come back to me and said the same thing. They're like, I met with her. She's like, Stacey, I just knew. I just knew. I can't even tell you all the things that the way I knew. She's like, I just knew. That's
And
so
Stacey,
amazing. It's that pure belief.
do you know what it is?
It's
It's
that
love.
pure willingness to be
Yes.
open and receive. And you do, you just know.
And Stacey, I always just say love and light conquers any darkness that there is. It's like going into a dark room and turning on the light switch and you can see everything and you're not afraid anymore. This is what opening up to the divine is. It's like walking into a dark room where you're afraid and it's dark and you're scared, and you turn on the light and you just say, I can see everything. I feel at peace now. And this is what turning this on is. And I want everyone, because it's who we are. It's who we all are. We're all going back to this, right? It's who we all are. We're all going to go back to this divine place, all of us. So it's about if we can incorporate this into our life here and just be open and just say, I really need the connection. Please help me. Just guide me today. Show me I need you. That's it. That's all it is. It's not anything bad, scary, or weird. It's about divine light and divine love, and it's there for all of. And Stacey, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with all of us from the bottom of my heart. You are
Thank
just an
you.
amazing, beautiful soul. And we'll talk
Thank
again
you.
soon.
I feel the same way about you. I think you are just absolutely a light and a gift. And I hope that you continue to put your message out there and do what you do for others, because I'm telling you, you touch hearts. You really, really do, Renee. So thank you for what you do.
Stacey, God bless. Bye-bye.